Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Akshay Dongri, coming up in the next 30 minutes. US strikes Iranian radar sites, calls it a defensive action after Iran launches 4 attack drones towards Strait of Hormuz. Fresh strikes escalate tensions between Israel and Lebanon after unresolved disagreements continue to stall ceasefire efforts. Russian President Putin hails India as a reliable partner, points that it is one of the leading players in the IT industry. India reiterates that Jammu and Kashmir will always be an integral part of the country, condemns Pakistan's repeated references and false narratives at the UNGA. And in sports news, Grandmaster R. Praggnanandhaa clinches his maiden Norway Chess title after defeating Germany's Vincent Kiemer in a thrilling final round. And updates on the US-Iran war first. The United States military said it attacked radar sites on Iran's southern coast on Friday in the latest flare-up to threaten the ceasefire in the West Asia war. US Central Command said in a statement that its forces shot down 4 Iranian one-way attack drones launched towards the Strait of Hormuz. Following the interception, US forces carried out retaliatory strikes on the Iranian coastal surveillance radar sites at Goruk and on Qasem Island, saying the action was necessary to prevent further attacks and protect maritime traffic. The CENTCOM further stated the attack drones posed an immediate threat to regional maritime traffic, while the strikes on radar installations defended against the further attacks. Iran's military said on Friday that it had fired warning missiles at 2 US destroyers in the Gulf of Oman, a claim promptly denied by the US military. US President Donald Trump said Iran still retains around 21 to 22% of its missile arsenal. In an interview to NBC News on Friday, Trump said the US had totally destroyed Iran's military capabilities, including much of its missile and drone production network. The estimate is higher than the 18% figure Trump cited in May. The US president also claimed that American strikes have devastated much of Tehran's military infrastructure during the ongoing conflict. In a parallel conflict in Lebanon, Iran-aligned armed group Hezbollah said on Friday that it had carried out 2 attacks on Israeli troops in southern Lebanon, including near the recently captured Beaufort Castle, while Lebanese security services said Israeli airstrikes hit towns across southern Lebanon. The latest round of fighting between Hezbollah and the Israeli forces erupted at the start of March, 2 days after the US and Israel strikes launched attacks against Iran. Hezbollah said its actions were in support of Tehran. Israel has kept up strikes in southern Lebanon, and it has said its forces would not withdraw or halt operations in the country amid increasing friction with the US. Earlier, Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem had rejected a US brokered pact between Israel and the Lebanese government to halt the fighting in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iran has reaffirmed support for its Lebanese ally Hezbollah and demanded that Israel withdraw from southern Lebanon, underscoring complications facing an interim deal to end the broader conflict between the US and Iraq.
This war is between Iran and the United States and Israel, and naturally, Lebanon is an inseparable part of this war, just as it was involved during the war. Therefore, we do not see the fate of Iran's war with the United States and Israel as separate from the fate of the war in Lebanon. Lebanon has paid a price in this war that was imposed on us by the United States and Israel, and we will never forget the people of Lebanon and our friends in Lebanon who were targeted by Israel in this war. In our view, there will certainly be a single fate for ending this war in Iran, in the region, and in Lebanon. That means either the war ends in both places or the war continues in both places.
Cuba's former leader Raul Castro appeared at an Interior Ministry celebration in Havana, the first public appearance since his indictment on murder charges last month in the United States. The Trump administration has accused the former defense minister of ordering Cuban military jets to shoot down planes operated by a group of Cuban exiles in 1996, a major escalation in Washington's pressure campaign against the island's communist government. Castro, who turned 95 on Wednesday, was last seen in public a month ago during May 1st festivities in Havana, just prior to his indictment. He had previously not been seen since January 15, when he appeared in a public ceremony in the capital paying homage to the 32 Cuban soldiers killed during the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Air Canada suspending its services to Cuba indefinitely, citing political and economic uncertainty on the island facing intensifying pressure from the US President Donald Trump. Canada's national carrier, which in February announced a pause on Cuban flights until November, said it wanted to give customers more certainty regarding the prospect of future travel. The fuel embargo in place since January has left Cuba without diesel for generators used to bolster its crumbling power supply, resulting in power outages of up to 22 hours a day and shortages of tap water. With transport virtually at a standstill, the island is also running short on food and medicine, making it reliant on aid shipments coming from Mexico and China. Moving to South Korea, where thousands of people gathered outside a vote counting center in Seoul, demanding a rerun of its week's local election after a shortage of ballots prevented some voters from casting their votes. The protest took place at the SK Olympic Handball Stadium, where ballots from Wednesday's elections were being counted. The polls were being held to elect mayors, provincial governors, county officials, and members of local assemblies. Some protesters came to the site after seeing videos and social media posts raising concerns about the vote count and ballot shortages. According to election officials, 50 of the 14,300 polling stations ran out of the ballots, while voting was temporarily suspended at 22 stations due to delay in receiving supplies. The government of Nepal has formed a committee to conduct a comprehensive investigation into customs status of the 779 electrical vehicles taken under control by the armed police forces, Nepal on June 4th. The BYD electric vehicles were brought from China, crossing into Nepal from the Kerala border in Mustang district just before the national budget was announced. With possibility of customs and tax irregularities, the new tax budget significantly increases the tax burden on many EV categories by introducing 20% custom duty on all EVs in Nepal. There is an allegation that the importers used advanced knowledge of tax changes. In the new tax regime, with the import of a large number of EVs, the Nepal government can earn $1 billion of revenue. The European leaders gathered at an EU summit in Montenegro on Friday, where discussions focused on the gradual integration of 6 Western Balkan countries aspiring to join the bloc. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called for a faster and more credible enlargement process. Leaders including French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz supported the idea of a phased and gradual integration, allowing candidate countries closer participation in the EU structure before full membership. An updates on Ebola outbreak, the United States said on Friday it would provide an additional $38 million for Ebola response efforts. The additional funds bring the total committed by the US to more than $200 million in direct funding. The State Department, in a statement, said it was working closely with the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as well as the DRC and Uganda to mount a rapid and comprehensive response to the outbreak. Earlier, the US CDC on Friday urged the strong public health intervention against the current Ebola outbreak, citing their models that show it could otherwise rival the scale of the 2014 West Africa outbreak. The outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has resulted in 452 confirmed cases of Ebola and 82 deaths. The DRC Health Ministry on Friday said that 71 new cases were confirmed in a 24-hour period and warned of rapid community transmission. A second case of the flesh-eating screwworm parasite was confirmed in Texas by the US Department of Agriculture on Friday, emerging just miles from where the first US detection in decades was reported this week. The new case in Zavala County was detected on a ranch 5.6 miles from the first positive case of the screwworm in Texas, which the USDA confirmed on Wednesday. The infection, which the USDA said was in a 1-month-old calf, was reported earlier on Friday by the Reuters, citing sources. The USDA discovered the second infestation after testing a number of suspect cases, the department's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Services said in a press release. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. In an exclusive podcast to DD India, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar talks on terrorism, says it cannot go unpunished. Stay tuned to know more. In cricket, India is all set to take on Afghanistan in a one-off test in Mullanpur, New Chandigarh. From elephants to giraffes, zoo animals in Guadalajara are making quirky prediction for the FIFA World Cup.
"20 years ago, swamp. Today, skyscrapers. Tomorrow, who knows? Billion-rupee gamble on the future. Newtown might have some answers."
The waste segregation, 100% of it is done at source. The percentage of the waste to landfills has reduced to 4%, and it captures 95% of the city's stormwater.
Some garage doors have special components like strengthened jams and brackets and bracing that allow it to withstand those winds.
I think it's a very wise investment in resilient housing, coming up with designs which are adaptive. It can very well be a long-term solution for the area.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Akshay Dongre. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday held a grand roadshow in Daman, drawing huge crowds. Thousands of people lined up on both sides of the route to welcome him. Chants of Modi, Modi echoed the atmosphere. The entire stretch of the roadshow route was illuminated with decorative lightings, while cultural performances added color and vibrancy to the event. Following the roadshow, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone and inaugurated various developmental projects costing Rs 2,970 crores in Daman. The dedicated projects span healthcare, civil aviation, tourism, infrastructure, connectivity and public welfare sectors, including a new terminal building of Nammo Airport, the Nammo Hospital, an iconic bridge, the Daman Convention Centre and the NIFT campus at Daman. Here's more in this report.
A new chapter in Daman's development journey unfolded on Friday as Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated and launched a series of transformative projects worth nearly 2,970 crore rupees. PM Modi inaugurated the new terminal building of Nammo Airport, ushering in a new era of air connectivity for the Union Territory. The airport is expected to strengthen tourism, facilitate business travel, and improve regional connectivity. Prime Minister Modi also dedicated the state-of-the-art Nammo Hospital to the nation. Equipped with modern healthcare facilities, the hospital is designed to serve nearly 1,500 OPD patients daily and is expected to significantly enhance healthcare access for residents of Daman and neighboring regions. PM also laid the foundation stone for development projects worth approximately 1,630 crore rupees. These include the ambitious iconic bridge, which will further improve connectivity and become a landmark attraction, the Daman Convention Centre aimed at boosting business tourism, and NIFT campus that is expected to create new opportunities.
आज भी यहाँ कनेक्टिविटी, हेल्थ, एजुकेशन, टूरिज्म और अर्बन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इनसे जुड़ी अनेक परियोजनाओं का उद्घाटन और शिलान्यास हुआ है। विकास के ये काम दमन और पूरी यूनियन टेरिटरी के लिए यहां के लोगों के जीवन को आसान बनाएंगे। इनसे युवाओं के लिए नए अवसर तैयार होंगे।
The projects are set to accelerate economic growth, attract investment, generate employment, and improve the quality of life for citizens.
With the inauguration of the Nammo Airport and the Nammo Hospital and the launch of several landmark infrastructure projects, Daman has received a major development boost. These initiatives are expected to improve connectivity, strengthen healthcare, and create employment opportunity and accelerate economic growth in the Union Territory. With Cabazar Sunil Ralak, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Daman.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin has praised India's growing influence in the global technology sector. Speaking at a public event, Putin describing India as one of Russia's key strategic partners and a leading force in the information technology industry.
Another key partner of ours is India, which is one of the leading players in the IT industry. It accounts for a significant share of the global software market.
And in a podcast with DD News, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that terrorism cannot be cost-free and that those responsible must face consequences. Citing the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack, Dr. S. Jaishankar emphasized that India is clear that such acts of terrorism cannot be allowed to go unpunished.
We have one other neighbor, Pakistan, and there the response is very, is this doesn't apply, because when somebody practices cross-border terrorism as the central feature of the policy towards us, that you have to also ensure there are consequences, that it is not something which will be cost free. So when you are comparing eras, I think the one thing this country is very clear on, nobody wants to see again what happened at 26/11. That 26/11 was cost free. That should never happen again.
And you can watch this exclusive interview on DD India today at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time and repeat telecast at 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Now, India has once again slammed Pakistan, delivering a key statement at the UN General Assembly plenary on annual reports of the Security Council. India's permanent representative to the United Nations reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India and condemned Pakistan's false narratives.
The unwarranted reference by Pakistan to a matter strictly internal to India, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, has compelled me to respond. Pakistan has decided not to spare this forum either from their characteristic misuse of august UN platforms for their divisive political interests. Abuse of its presence on the Security Council by Pakistan, including through the circulation of several misinformed and misleading communications, also testifies to this counterproductive approach. I'd like to remind Pakistan that being a member of the UN Security Council is a huge responsibility. It's not a forum for peddling biased and false narratives. I'd like to make it loud and clear. Jammu and Kashmir was, is and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. Any assertions to the contrary are baseless, devoid of and inconsistent with historical facts. Empty rhetoric and hollow claims by Pakistan would not change this fundamental reality. In the interest of time with the wider UN membership, I would not delve any further into this.
The centre on Friday scrapped the capital gains tax, both long-term as well as short-term, and the withholding tax on interest income that foreign institutional investors must pay on their government bonds holding amid pressure to attract money from abroad to stabilize rupees exchange rate. Here's a detailed report.
The central government on June 5th issued the Income Tax Amendment Ordinance 2026, exempting foreign investors from paying taxes on interest income earned from government securities as well as on capital gains. The ordinance is effective April 1st, 2026, allowing its benefits to be availed from the beginning of the current tax year. The Income Tax Amendment Ordinance 2026, promulgated by President Draupadi Murmu, amends Schedule 4 of the Income Tax Act 2025 to add new categories of exempt income linked to investments in government bonds. Under this amendment, an exemption has been granted to foreign institutional investors regarding any interest earned on government securities and any capital gains arising from the sale, exchange, or transfer of such government securities. A separate entry grants the same exemption to the Bank for International Settlements, the Switzerland headquartered institution that serves as a forum for global central banks after fulfilling specified conditions. Though BIS, that is Bank for International Settlements, is yet to invest in India. With this new measure, the Government of India has scrapped the following taxes. Earlier, foreign institutional investors had to pay 12.5% long-term capital gains on government bonds that were held for more than 12 months, and short-term capital gains tax rate was 20% if the bond is held for less than 12 months. Both these taxes have been scrapped. The withholding tax on interest income earned by foreign investors on government securities has also been eliminated. These reforms aim to reduce operational complexities, simplify market access, and provide a more seamless investment experience comparable with leading international financial markets. These measures are expected to expand the investor base for government securities and encourage wider participation from global investors seeking exposure to one of the world's fastest growing major economies. Bureau Report, DD India.
On to sports news now. Grandmaster R. Praggnanandhaa made history on Friday as he became the first Indian to win the Norway Chess title. The 20-year-old chess star defeated Germany's Vincent Keimer to conclude his campaign on a memorable note. With this victory, the Chennai-born star achieved something that even Indian legend Vishwanathan Anand and current world champion D. Gukesh had also not managed since the tournament began in 2013. Test match between India and Afghanistan will begin today in New Chandigarh. For Captain Shubman Gill, this match will be very important in terms of preparation for red ball cricket. Afghanistan has played 12 test matches since 2018, winning 4 and losing 7, with one match ending in a draw. A quirky twist on football fever is unfolding in Mexico's Guadalajara, where zoo residents have become unlikely World Cup forecasters. At Guadalajara Zoo, animals have taken part in symbolic World Cup predictions by selecting food items, clothing and objects associated with competing national teams. Take a look. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available both on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Akshay Dongre, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.